Alright, so it's the moment of truth. 2 gallons of 91 octane premium unleaded fuel. Spark plugs cleaned. Old-ish engine oil, but I'm only going to warm it up a little bit before I change it, so I just want to see if the bike will start. Battery's fully charged. What else? We are ready to rock and roll, and the oil filter's done. So, and I did put the OEM original stainless steel muffler back on. It does not have a baffle, it's a straight through pipe, so hopefully it's not going to be too loud and annoy my neighbors on a Sunday morning. But I prefer the way this looks than the big extra one that was on there, so we'll see which pipe I end up using. I just need a spark arrestor for this if I'm going to take it off-road. Anyway, so let's fire this puppy up. So it is completely cold. Put my hand on the exhaust pipe. It is not hot. I have not turned the ignition on. Digital gauge. So it shows 513 miles, but the odometer cable's broken, so who knows, probably around 600, the guy said. The throttle assist or the choke assist has been removed here, so you could start it without it being in neutral, although there is an N for neutral sign, and if it is in neutral we should be able to spin the... Yep, so it is actually in neutral, it's not lying to me. On, off for the controls, and a starter here. So let's put the camera on its stand, and let's put the choke on. Put my hand up in here, reach the choke. It's a bit of a pain to get to. There we go. Pull the choke up on the carb. Ignition on. Little bit of throttle into the on position, which I think is there, and here we go. Oh my word. Wow, that was easy. Awesome, I'm really pleased with that. That was super easy to get this bike started. I guess he did look after it after all. So I'm just going to let this idle to warm up the engine oil, and then we can drain the oil. Considering the bike hasn't been running a year, that started incredibly easy. Alright, so we'll let this run for about 5 minutes. And then drain the oil. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes, the engine's nice and warm, oil's going to be nice and hot, and the bike's idling at 1500 RPMs perfectly. Kill the engine, switch off the ignition, and time to drain the oil. So on the left side of the bike, at the bottom, underneath the casing, you'll see this big nut. That's what we need to undo in order to drain the oil. So I get the right socket on the end here, and also I'm going to have to get this out of the way, hold it down probably in order to, hopefully I don't have to take it off, but the gear selector, simple short ratchet coming up on the inside, getting it on, and then giving it a good, actually that is very loose. That was not torqued to the correct torque settings, but wasn't leaking. So you can see the oil is already starting to drip out. So hot engine oil, hot casing. If you've got asbestos fingers like me, you'll be fine, but if not, just don't burn yourself. And there we go. Alright, so there's my nut with an O-ring on the inside, so we need to check that. And that looks like it's damaged. Oh dear. And then inside there is a screen and a spring to hold the screen in, so it doesn't really matter which way this goes in, it's identical. You're going to need some long nose pliers to get in here, and there we go. And here is your engine oil screen to catch any sediment, and that looks really clean. Nothing. So now all we have to do is wait for this to completely drain. I might tilt the bike a little bit to get it all out. Clean up the screen, clean up the inside with a rag, thread it all back together, fill it up with oil. So here's looking inside the lower oil drain area where the filter goes. Well, not the filter, there is no filter, the screen goes. And if you look in the dead center there, you'll see a rare earth magnet, which is actually threaded into the center there. So that is designed to pick up any metal. And if I just take the end of a nail here, you will see, boom. There you go. The nail is being held by the magnet. So that's a very strong little magnet in there. And that's how you want to remove any bits of metal. Just take a nail, stick it onto the end. You can rub it around, and if there is any metal on the end there, any tiny shavings, camera is not focusing, sorry. It's focusing on my hand, so you can see on the end of the nail. No, you can't see. There's a few tiny bits on the end of the nail. Maybe if I hold it like that and zoom in. No. Anyway, but that is a magnet on the inside. That's a nice little touch, actually. I wouldn't expect a cheap Chinese dirt bike to have that kind of a feature. But it does. Very cool indeed. So yeah, so time to put this all back together. Get in here with a rag and just really clean it out. Clean out all those threads, get them super clean. So that's the oil filter screen put back into place. You can see the magnet in the middle. So that little screen just sits on the top of it with the rubber gasket on the inside all the way in. Next thing is the spring. So you want to pop that in, and that's going to hold the screen in place. That sits out fair way, so that's going to be under tension. And then next thing is your cap. Drain cap. Now you can see it's got an O-ring on the inside here, but the edge here is very slightly split, so it's not going to hold properly. It's about 1 inch of splitting. I can't really show you, but you can see there you go. So what I'm going to do temporarily is use some JB Weld and weld this together with some fast set JB Weld, and that way I can test the bike, use the bike, and I will order a new one of these. And at the same time I'm going to replace this O-ring, because the O-ring is not sitting proud of the channel that it sits in. So the reason why this broke was it was getting cranked down and it was just metal against metal rather than metal O-ring, and the O-ring wasn't getting compressed. So do a quick repair to this and get it usable, and then order a new cap. Alright, so here's the repaired drain oil cap plug. I've coated it with JB Weld, the high strength stuff that takes 24 hours to cure. Front, sides, top. So hopefully that's going to give it enough strength to hold it when it's back on the bike for its first oil run, and just run all the oil through it and get it clean. Thankfully these are not expensive. The cap with the spring, the O-ring, and the filter was $15 shipped to me, but it's a 2-week back order, so all this has to do is last me 2 weeks basically, so I can use the bike. But that's going to give me some time to fix all the other stuff on the bike that needs fixing. So the bike's going to sit now until I can get some oil in it, and I can work on the other stuff. So the other stuff I've got to work on right now is, as you can see, I've got a serious front fork, the left fork here. The seal's gone in the fork, so I've got to pull the fork and replace the seal. I've got to replace the brake lever that's been broken off and sort that out. And as you can see from the state of the exhaust pipe, the exhaust is pretty rusty. So I'm going to pull that, sand it down, prime it, and then paint it with some high temperature Rust-Oleum exhaust paint. Other project, my brake lever is bent in, so when I'm riding the bike, that's as much of the brake that I can see, so that needs to be bent out to the right in order for my foot to press on the brake lever a little bit better. So I've got a number of things to work on, and might as well get to it while I'm waiting for parts to arrive in the post. Alright, so here's the exhaust headers back on, painted in a satin black. There we go. Flame proof VHT, very high temperature, up to 2000 degrees. Super easy. You can see the header runs all the way back, the pipe, and the muffler attached there. So now, before you go ahead and paint your rusty pipes with this stuff, I will tell you it was a small pain in the ass. 2 bolts, 2 studs on the head, undo those. 1 bolt right here, undo that, and then the whole pipe is loose. The problem is, unless you drop and remove the rear wheel as well as the suspension, you'll never get it out. The way it's designed, the way it's bent, the welds on it, it just won't come forward, out, down and around. However, it will come all the way forward to about here, and if you undo it and drop it down and twist it a little bit, it'll back out. So what I did was I painted it in 2 sections. I undid it, pulled it forward, painted the front half, let it dry, and then pushed it all the way back, It went back about another 9 inches, and I was able to turn it and paint it. So what I did was I just literally sprayed the paint can into a little container and used a brush, and was able to paint all the way around, front, back, sides, as I was painting. Covered everything with a rag here, and then got it painted. Put it all back together, and it's on. So the whole job probably took about half an hour, 45 minutes, to paint this exhaust system. Very high temperature, satin black. Actually, it's more of a matte black. It's a flat black, but it looks a lot better than rusty brown, which it was before. So another good job done as I wait for parts to arrive.